I know who I am. I remember who I am. I'm a God, goddess, divine being on legs, and I'm a human, and I have this going on. So I'm not ignoring what's going on. I'm aware of it, but I'm not allowing it to shrink me.
Welcome to Energetics with Kim and Veronica, where we invite you to nourish the energy of your inner why, your inner healing, magic, prosperity, your curiosity, clarity, playfulness. Welcome home. We're talking today about navigating, I'm going to say the health system, as I've recently had an experience I'd love to share with you as it relates to my daughter. I'm Veronica and I'm joined by Kim. Hey, Kim.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Veronica.
I have an 8-year-old daughter that I've talked about from time to time. And when I went through pregnancy, everything was normal. And as soon as she was born, they said, hey, something's different here. There's something off. As soon as she came out of my belly. And, we went through a whole journey and she was eventually diagnosed with a genetic disorder. And all of that's a story for another time. But this week we were in the hospital and she had to undergo general anesthesia for some oral surgery. And, it was interesting because while I was at the hospital, I had a moment where I thought, oh, this would be a good podcast episode. And then Kim said, hey, why don't you talk about your experience this week? I'm like, sure.
Oh my God. Did you really? You were sitting there.
I swear to you.
What? You were sitting there and you had that thought? I love it.
I had that thought. And this is the thing,
God.
I do want to have a disclaimer here because when it comes to health issues and anything we navigate for the people we love or for ourselves, there's such a wide spectrum, right? So it's like you could easily go into the comparison of, well, my situation's way worse, or maybe my situation's better. And so I just want to have a disclaimer here that I'm just sharing my own experience and my own journey through all of this. And that doesn't mean that I am trying to suggest that everything can be magical when you're going through really tough times, right? Zara my daughter is seen at a hospital called Sick Kids Hospital. It's fairly well known in Canada because she was diagnosed so early. And so she's seen for a plethora of things. But at the same time, I'll self-declare that she's mild compared to a lot of the situations that we see when we go in there. So I can't say that what I'm going to share with you is a blanket approach and that it's, the same for every situation. It's more like a contemplation and an observation. Like as I've challenged myself to lead myself a certain way through this whole journey, it's been fascinating to see what shows up for us. So, and I will say, really the topic here is navigating the healthcare system. And I've noticed, especially over the last couple of years, how many people, when they've had some, severe or serious or more extreme health issues, how much they criticize the healthcare system. And I have just never allowed myself to do that. And so I sit back and I look 8 years in of all kinds of things. We've neurosurgeons and heart specialists and all kinds of things that she's had to go through. And I've only had amazing experiences, both through this hospital, but also outside of it, just through the whole system altogether. And I'm like, isn't it fascinating how many people struggle with it? How many people have bad experiences? How many people, and the energy there is resistance and it's fighting and it's criticism. And so we went through this surgery on Tuesday, and I have a lot of comfort going into these situations. So even though she's going under general anesthesia and there's always this, potential risk, I'm aware of the thought of what could maybe go wrong, but I don't entertain it. And I really just stay focused on caring for her and, the step-by-step of the whole procedure. And the whole day was just so magical. Like when we first went in to do the prep work, the anesthesiologist came out and, prepped us for everything. And as he was walking away, I heard him say to his nurse, she's lovely. And I'm like, oh, isn't that nice? He wasn't talking about me. He was talking about her, right? And then the whole, the compliments we would receive through the whole experience, oh my gosh, she's so brave. She's so pleasant. She's so beautiful. She's so brilliant. I remember even when she was in recovery and the doctor came to meet my husband and I, and we were like getting ready to go meet him. He said, "You guys are so chill. I don't usually see people so chill." Right. And it was like, oh, like I wasn't trying to be chill, but it's an interesting observations, and the fact that we were not only getting great care and great service, but also getting all these little sprinkles of compliments throughout the day. And
Mm,
that's when I clicked and thought, oh, this is a really good podcast episode, because I, for the last 8 years, have not criticized the healthcare system. I have not been judgmental of it. I've poured love into it. And I have had a private client for the last couple of years who's been navigating cancer. And I've been walking with her as she's been navigating cancer. And, we've been really going deep on how to lead herself energetically through all of the different phases. And one of the things I've said early on to her, and she said to me, oh, the healthcare system, awful, it's awful, it's awful. And I said, you got to love it. You got to find a way to love it. If you really want to enter into this and lead yourself energetically, find a way to love it. Of course, there's evolution available. Of course, there is. But us fighting it and criticizing it and pouring that energy into it is not contributing to that evolution. So, for those of us that are interested in the energetic, contribution to the evolution, find a way to love it. And so, it's fascinating to me to see like all of the iterations that I've been through with my daughter. And from day one, I've just been appreciative and loving it and looking for the gold in all of it. And it's just been, every experience has been amazing. But then I talk to all these other people who are like, it's awful, and this is awful, and that's awful. And, we get such bad care and bad diagnoses and all of these things. And I'm like, what's the element component to all of that? It's really fascinating to see it play out in that way. Curious on your thoughts, Kim.
huh? Yeah. Yeah, you know what? So it kind of reminds me of uh, once you're in it, because you're in it, once you're in it, it really is our own personal mastery on how we be with it.
Mm-hmm.
So if what is makes me shrink, then that's how I'm showing up. But if I can be expanded, and not in a fake way either, but if I can remember who I am and this is going on, it brings a whole different space to the and this is what's going on. So I can let it take me out, or I can be aware that this is who I am and this is happening in this moment. And that's a practice. For me, it was a big practice as well, because it's really easy to go into the thing that isn't working, the part of it that isn't working. And Veronica, when you and I used to teach courses and 5-week mastery classes on money, remember how we used to always bring in, and so this is reminding me of that, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because you asked. It reminds me of how we used to share with people about appreciating what is there. That it's really easy to go, yeah, but it could be better. Yeah, and blah, blah, blah. And so we would bring it in often around taxes. Do you remember that? And we would bring it in around nobody likes paying taxes, blah, blah, blah. But we would look at, and the word that was key in this for me was, what is it providing me with? Well, I like paved roads. Well, then I could go down the rabbit hole of, yeah, but they suck. I live in Nova Scotia. We're like pothole city. Careful, you'll be in China in a minute. Or I can go, yeah, I do like my paved roads. And my kids get to go to school, and we have snow plows. And yeah, it'd be easy to say, yep, and the schools suck, right? That is just the mind chatter. That is the wrongness. But instead, if I can go, oh, okay, cool. Because that's a big field that people play in. Yep, the schools suck, the medical system sucks, the system's broken, the government doesn't have our back. And there's a lot of truth in a lot of that. There really, really is. And we have all the evidence. However, when I can use my own personal mastery and go, what is it providing me with? Right. And so when Zara's in the hospital, yeah, there's, you always show up with, look what this is providing her with. and us with, and the care and all the things. But if I'm playing in the rabbit hole, I'm a really good match for the rabbit hole. And a lot of times we don't even realize that we're playing in the rabbit hole. We really do feel like, because there's so much evidence of the ooh goo, we think, yeah, but that's the truth. Yeah, it is. And right. So yeah, I know who I am. I remember who I am. I'm a goddess, divine being on legs, and I'm a human, and I have this going on. So I'm not ignoring what's going on. I'm aware of it, but I'm not allowing it to shrink me. And if it does, I notice that once you start playing with the bigness of who you truly be, you really start to notice when you shrink. And you get to, for me, the way I like to do it is, oh, for God's sake, I'm doing that thing again. I'm friggin' hilarious. And I'm like, hey, there's that thing. That thing doesn't define me. It's an experience. And so I don't know. Did I kind of, yeah, I stayed on topic.
You did great. No, I think it's perfect. I love that you brought in the money piece too, because it's a big one. And that's why, I had the disclaimer, because of course people are dealing with really tough stuff. So I don't ever want it to be interpreted that it's that I'm saying, or that we are saying, like, just slap on a happy face and just say everything's fine. And, like, you deal with the tough things. I had many, many tears in the first 6 months of her life, grieving the loss of what I thought she should be, who I thought she should be. And that was my own journey. And I honored myself through that. And I, and have completely moved past it to where now I wouldn't change a thing, because I see her brilliance and her beauty and her magic. But I didn't slap on a happy face and just pretend everything was okay. I went through the grieving process. And so depending on what you're navigating, it can be really, really tough. And so it's not about like just pretend everything's happy and now all of a sudden your life is going to change. But it's really about tapping into the energetics of, okay, yeah, the healthcare system is faulty, of course, and it is ripe for evolution and for elevation. But is our judgment and criticism of it actually contributing to that elevation, or is it continuing to feed where it's at now? And what if we could just find the things that we can love about it? What are the ways we can pour our love into it? There's a lot of people, probably a high majority of the people working in the healthcare system, that have really good intentions. And they're just navigating a really tough dynamic with the structure. And so imagine if we could like turn down the dial on the criticism, turn up the dial on the love, and energetically, what creation could that bring to our planet and to our countries?
And that can be, I don't know if it's a challenge, but yeah. So when like, for example, how much can you appreciate that care is actually available for her? I mean, yes, we call it free healthcare in Canada, but come on, people, we pay for it dearly in our taxes, and we pay for it. We do. So like, how much appreciation can you have that what they have in place, whether it's awesome or not at the level of care, but can we appreciate that it is there, right? Whether we're living in the States and have insurance and pay out of pocket. We do that too here in Canada, by the way. And I mean, so last time so I don't have a doctor, because where I live, there's a real shortage of doctors. I've been almost 3 years without a doctor. So if I need a doctor for anything, now listen, I'm typically all about naturopathic doctors and the holistic approach. So it's rare for me to need anything like that anyway. However, I went totally deaf in 1 ear. Well, I'm lying. I went about 98 or 99% deaf in 1 ear. And I'm at an osteopath, and I'm like, yeah, can you see what you can do with this? Which I pay for out of pocket, my osteopath. And he's like, you need to go see your doctor. I'm like, I don't have one. And he's like, then that means you need to go to the emergency department. Oh my God. Emergency department here in Nova Scotia, you can be easy 12 to 16 hours easy. So they do a triage, which means you could be sitting there for 6 hours and you could be next in line, but three people walk in and they're considered more of an emergency than you are. You get bumped to the back of the line again. So here I am trying to say, yeah, I got something wrong with my ear. How far down the list do you think I am? Right? But I went in there kind of like I am a weirdly patient person. I went in there kind of, knowing that it's just going to be like that. It is. And so then, it's just going to be like that. So I'll find a way to entertain myself. I was on the road, so I didn't even know I was going to be there. So I wasn't prepared. I didn't have books and all this stuff, right? And so yeah, you just kind of gotta, it's not go with the flow. It really isn't. Sometimes for me, it's about creating the flow, right? Because going with the flow in a situation like that could be everybody's pissed off. I'm going to go with the flow. No, I'm going to create my own flow here. So I'm talking to the people around me and doing the things and found a thing I could plug my phone in for charging it. And yeah, I was there for I don't know how many hours, but because other people kept coming in, so I kept getting pushed to the back because there's something going on with my ear. Other people are coming in with, things that look bigger.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah. But I was appreciative. I was annoyed. I wasn't happy about sitting there for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. I got there, it was after 5. By the time I got home, it was after 1 in the morning. But I didn't let it get to me to the point where I was angry and mad at people, whereas some people do. People were getting up and leaving and doing all the things. I knew that no matter what, I'm going to be okay, but I needed to do this, right? I knew that I was going to have to do this in order to be seen. And, I did get up at one time and go to the triage and say, listen, this is just a ear thing. I'm probably fine to go home. And they were like, well, that could lead to something. We don't know what it is. And it could lead to something that isn't okay. And she's like, you should stay. Of course, I have to tell you that because if you leave, because they said, okay, it's okay to leave then, right? But anyway, I stayed. And like I said, it was after 1 in the morning. And I had to work really early in the morning with clients. And yeah, but you know what? You're going to be okay. And I knew that. I can sit here, I can wait it out, and I'm going to be okay. Is it fun? No. Can I be in situations that are fun? Yep. Right? Have I been in situations that annoy me before? Uh-huh. Does that mean I become annoyed? The situation was annoying. Doesn't mean I have to become annoyed and then annoy everybody around me and be pissed off like a lot of them are. I'm not going with that flow. Right? But, well, I'm glad Zara's okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've had many nights.
Doesn't surprise me that the doctors are like, she's lovely. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and so it's not all like, okay, I'm because of the energy I'm playing in, everything's blissful. Like I have no doubt that her energy is contributing
it's not.
to how wonderful it is too. And I've had many nights where we've been in the emergency room and it's like, okay, if they come to me in the next half hour, I can go home and still get 3 hours of sleep before I go to work, right? Like there's just lots of wait times and you roll with it. But again, like that's what life is all about. That's where it's like, what path do I want to choose? And do I want to be in control of creating my experiences in life? Or do I want to find the comfort in the validation and the victim consciousness, right? Well, there's something we've talked about before. There's something that can be really enjoyable about the victim consciousness. I'm a victim to the healthcare system. I'm a victim to the taxes. I'm a victim. And that can be very comforting. There's other people in here with me and but it's like, well, that's a choice. And you can choose that if that's the path you want to lead down. And what we're talking about here is there's another choice available where it's like, we can take control and we can feel all the feelings and go through all of the tough emotions and the discomfort and all of it. And also choose a different energy, a different state of being, a different energetics, a different identity that can create something different in our life. And, through the
Yeah.
years and years and years that we've done this, it's like, it's wild what you can create when you take that path, but it's not for everyone. And sometimes we just want to be in the comfort of the victim consciousness, and it feels much better.
Yeah. And again, it's not about pretending or that things are okay when they're not. That's not what we're talking about here at all. It's like, yeah, this is going on. It sucks. And this does not identify me. This is not my identity. This does not mean anything about me. Yeah, I am this and I'm experiencing that. So our experiences don't define us. And as you were saying something a minute ago, it was like, yeah. And as we get to see that, we can show up and be okay. It actually strengthens our nervous system, because our nervous system gets to upgrade, if you will, to, okay, yeah, I did that and I'm okay. And so when we're in it, I think that can be really helpful is to just remind ourselves, you know what? Yeah, I'm experiencing this and I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm safe. I'm going to be safe. This is just a moment. So that little bit of self-talk, because, and again, it is all a practice. It is all a practice. And that reminder that we're going to be safe and that we're going to be okay. This is just an experience. It's not a life sentence, hopefully. Right? It can be, right? It sure
Mm-hmm.
can be. And yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, you're so lucky. And I love
Interesting
that Zishan
exploration.
goes with you. I love that he
Yeah.
goes with
Yeah.
you. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. We
Ken
have a
drops
good,
me off at the front door.
he's like,
He
good luck.
does. He'll drop me off at the front door at emergency and yeah, call me when I'm like, oh God.
But how lucky are the folks in emergency and the folks in the hospital to have your beautiful presence there, right? Like they're benefiting from that. And that's, when I
Oh
talked
my
about the
God.
client that I've been working with, it's one of the things I talked about a lot. Like, what's your contribution to the medical system as you go through this, right? And
Yeah.
as you love it, you're contributing for others too. There's so many people in that system, and anything you do to infuse love and to access a different energy, it's blasting out to everyone. So
Mm.
I love it.
You know what? I don't know if I can actually say I can love it, but what I can say for me is I can be love, which is who we truly be as
Mm-hmm.
universal
Mm-hmm.
beings of love and light. I can be that while I'm in it. And so I have this thing where I actually have, it's kind of like a claim where I'm like, I walked in it, I walked through it, and I walked out. I walked in, I walked through, and I walked out. And so I can still be that. And so I think for me, that's what I mean when I say, does it shrink me? Meaning, do I become it? Or can I maintain and still be my love and light, and not in a fake way? Not in a fake way, right? And so yeah, so I might not love it, but I can still love me. I can still be that love that I truly be while experiencing that thing. And then in that context, as you were saying, then I'm bringing that into that whole world. I'm hijacking it, right? I'm hijacking it by being love in that part of the world, in those places. I'm hijacking it. I become the love, which is the light in maybe those situations that are dark. I'm hijacking it, right? Just by maintaining who I am. Listen, doesn't mean I don't go down the rabbit hole at times too, because I do. Ask Ken. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that you brought out that nuance because it really is different for like between us and for everyone. Like for me, it feels like love. For you, it's you are being the love and you're expanding it. And so I think that's a really important nuance. It's about finding
Yeah.
your own way with it. So,
Yeah. Be
and
you.
right before Zara went in, she said, "Mom, am I going to come back to life after this?"
Aww.
I said, well, you're not done with me yet, are you? She's like, no, I'm not done with you yet. I'm like, okay, come back. Her awarenesses are
Oh
so
my
cool.
God.
It's fun.
Sweet.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the healthcare systems. And for those of you who are enjoying these conversations, Kim and I have a few spots open for 2-on-1 packages where we work with you for, I think, 90 days. Just reach out and message us if you have any interest in going deep for yourself on any of this. And we'd be happy to share more with you about what that is. And we're sharing links in in the podcast description, so you can find more information there as well.
Just going to say the name of our 3-month program is called Unstoppable. So 3 months of coaching and energetics and frequency work with Veronica and I and you.
Amazing. Thank you. If you think anyone could benefit from this conversation, please share. We appreciate all the love you can give us. Until next time.
Next time.